All right, folks, welcome to Nino's Corner.tv. I'm doing this live from my parents' house. I've been taking care of them, so it's been pretty rough on me, but I always got time for Bo Pony. I always got time for the Bo Pony. Bo, thank you so much for joining me. Man, you're always a positive guy. You always bring a lot of happiness to my audience, so I want to appreciate you, and I always got time for you, man, even though my schedule's been crazy. Bo, thank you for joining me.
Same thing, I appreciate you. I know your audience totally loves you. I sometimes will read the comments and man, it is so many love Nino Rodriguez comments. It's incredible. So God is really using you. He uses all of us, but boy, he's really lifted up your platform and he really wants to use you. And it's exciting, the people that you bring onto your platform because again, it's all about revealing truth. And thank you for never backing down, never back down. And you do not because you're a warrior and that's why God's picked you.
I'll never back down. I
Yeah.
will never ever back down. But folks, I'll tell you one thing you got to do. You got to get to Noble Gold. Here's the hard truth. Every 6 years, your dollar loses half its buying power. That's 100,000 in savings today. It could feel like a 50,000 by 2031. But there's a way to protect and preserve your money, and that's gold. Noble Gold Investments makes it easy to own gold or silver. No pressure, no call centers, just honest one-on-one support. Open a qualified account and get a free 10-ounce silver American flag bar. I got one. And visit noblegoldinvestments.com. Noblegoldinvestments.com. Do that now, folks. Get started. All right, Bo, let's get into this. So there's a lot to talk about here. Month of May. Well, hold on. Let's just clarify this.
Yeah.
Millions to die. You're still on that, right? You still think that could happen? Was it already supposed to happen? Is it going to happen next April? Let's clarify that before we move forward, because I know my audience is going to ask.
Oh no, absolutely. It's here's the thing, okay? An event like that will be a game changer for humanity. This will be a global event that nobody will see coming. No one, it's been prophesied, but no one's going to see it coming. No one knows the day. Okay, so here's the point of all that. God's going to move upon humanity to change the course of history. And so we had a date calculation, which we did a podcast on a couple weeks ago, and that was specifically on the 21st of April. Okay. So that date hit right on the money. And specifically, that was the great shaking. But yet we're still waiting for specifically something even greater than that, which is written in Joel 2:34, 2:31, whatever it is. Yeah, Joel 2:31, which is the great and terrible day of the Lord. Now, that day is the millions will be gone overnight. So,
Still
but
think
the
it could be this.
prophecy is
Still
gone.
think it
But
could be this.
yeah, so let me just say it says gone as in gone. So, like you just said, it could be this stuff, okay? But it also will be people jumping probably off of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's going to be a bit of
Self-deleting.
everything. Yeah, self-deleting. It'll be a combination of everything because when the truth comes out, you'll never be able to go back after that day. Okay. So the day is going to hit. It'll be a 24-hour window. It will be a shaking. So I would expect to assume there's going to be volcanic eruptions. The ground's going to shake. This is going to be tied in with God moving. Everybody's going to know at the end of those 24 hours that God moved. And there's no way that what happened in those 24 hours that was by man or even possible. So man may Trump and his army team may be involved in it, but the events that transpired, you will only be able to say God was the orchestrator of the whole thing.
There's a lot of volcanic activity starting to happen right now in the Ring of Fire, that whole area. That's kind of scary. A
The
lot of activity
prophecy
happening
is
and
that
earthquakes too.
well, when the volcano starts to go off, there's a prophecy about Vesuvius or like in Italy. So there's Italy supposed to, there's some starting to shake over there in Italy right now. But this is all, massive time point as we've passed April. So again, April hit, April 21st was the spirit of Pythos, Python, bondage, because a snake will grip and bind you. So it's a choking spirit. The spirit of Pythos, 𝗬𝗂𝗋 prophecy from 2013, will begin to be removed in America between the 70th and the 100th day. So that means all of April. And so something biblical was supposed to happen in April, and bada boom, bada bing, April 21st hit, and it didn't miss. Okay. We haven't had the millions gone yet, but we've already had the triggering event, which is going to lead to huge things in the near future. Okay. And so this is a stair stepping of events. It's kind of like when Jesus turned water to wine. That was pretty cool. But, as the more miracles hit, next thing you know, he's raising Lazarus from the dead. You see what I'm saying? So it's a stepping stone of miracles that we're beginning to see. So April was a triggering event of things yet to come. And we're not over in May. There's still prophecy for Mayday, 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 which means something is supposed to and could trigger
Look at all
here
the moves
in
Trump's
May.
making. Look at all the moves he's making. He just, I mean, basically just brought peace to the Middle East. I heard he's not returning Netanyahu's calls. I mean, he's now giving the biggest arms deal to Saudi. This is insane what's happening. The whole seismic shift, the Trump effect, I like to call it. I mean, everything that's happening. I mean, he's just delivering a beating to the deep state.
Yes. And that's exactly what's supposed to happen. And today we're doing an interview. Today is May 14th. Okay. Why is today important? Say 24 hours of today. Why is it so important? Because go back 77 years, Israel was proclaimed a state on this exact day. And just lo and behold, literally Trump is in the Middle East signing $1 trillion deals. People, what do we go back to our past shows? All the viewers, what do we say? We said, don't be surprised. Right around the 14th of May, we're going to see historic things start to happen. It was 600 billion plus other stuff. So we're possibly at a $1 trillion deal in Saudi Arabia. That was just yesterday. Okay. So if that didn't hit on the mark of 24 hours within May 14th, come on. It's just all of these, something was supposed to trigger right around the 14th of May. And today you've got Trump meeting with the United Emirates. Okay. This is historic time point that we're in right now. We're watching biblical things go down in mathematical perfection. So for anybody saying, nothing's happening, a $1 trillion deal with Saudi Arabia. And I want to get into the details of this, Nino, because this is really cool. So I want to let's kind of get into a little summary of what we've talked about, and then please ask questions along the way. But again, so this is all, even though all these political things are happening, these are all biblical events within a political system. Okay, I mean, it's all political events within a biblical big time window of time. So everything's biblical. Now, let's go back to time, okay? So Trump gets elected November 8th, 2016, 1,260 days. Something was supposed to happen on April 20th, 21st, 2020. Just going to go quickly through this. And oil collapsed to negative $38 a barrel. 40 days and 40 nights later, George Floyd riots. And next thing you know, you've got rioting, wars breaking out, global as of May 31, 2020. Now, why I make reference to that is because that's 40 days and 40 nights from April 20th. And so what happened 5 years later? I showed the clock on our last podcast. 60 minutes, a minute is a month, which means 60 months. So something was supposed to happen on April 20th into the 21st. Lo and behold, we wake up, you and I are talking, and the Pope is dead. Klaus Schwab resigns. Okay. So understand everything is happening as expected, because Kim Clement even prophesied that the spirit of pathos will begin to be destroyed in America. People, please come look at this. If you can't tell me that this is a python, look at these eyes in the audience hall. Behind the Pope is the devil coming out of a pit of hell. This is the Catholic system. Now, and Nino and I were both Catholic. We were both Catholic, okay? It's the biggest religion in the world, so this ties in with end times and prophecy. But understand, Vatican II, so this is what I was looking for before. I want the viewers to see this. Vatican II, 16 documents written by man, okay? So now, God writes the Bible, and man comes in the late 60s, early 70s, writes 16 documents to twist the Bible and they call it to modernize the church. Nino, man comes in, writes 16 documents, modernizes the church, and right after that, they create audience hall with a snake. So in other words, this was the fall of the Catholic Church.
Right there.
This is when
the snake, the one that looks like the viper, the head, is that in the Vatican?
That's Audience Hall, which is right up against the Vatican. I know exactly the location, but it's right at the Vatican. So this is right in Rome. So this is what you're looking. It's called Audience Hall.
Oh.
This is crazy. So this is the spirit of Pythos, which will begin to be removed. Okay, well, what happened? Pope is dead on 421. So the prophecy of 2013, 𝗀𝗃 landed perfectly. And he even said, we watched the video, go back to listen to prior videos. What do the prophecies say? He says, the key that opens the treasure chest. What is the sign? The sign is resurrection. Come on. Resurrection Sunday was the 20th. The next morning, Pope is dead. Okay. So the prophecy was perfect. So now we go 5 years. We had April 20th, 2025. Now we run 40 days forward, just like we did earlier. That takes us to May 31, 2025. So the next really important biblical date relative to what happened over here in 2020, May 31, 2020, George Floyd riots, peace is taken from the earth. And so we run 40 days. I'm expecting peace will be potentially restored. What's Trump doing right now? He's restoring
that's what I was gonna ask you.
peace.
Is there any significance about the dates like today, the 14th or the 13th?
Yes, and those are great questions because that's like the next slide here. So I want to show the viewers how 7 is so important relative to Trump. Everything happening in his life, when I say everything, everything of importance lands on 7s, usually 777s. You don't believe me? The day he's born to the day Israel was proclaimed a state, Israel was proclaimed a state, it was 700 days to the exact day. And then if you add 77 years from that day, Nino, it's today. Today, we are doing a podcast on May 14th. Trump today, if you go backwards 77 years, Israel's proclaimed a state. If you go backwards another 700 days, Trump is born. This is the math that's not possible. We talked about Robert F. Kennedy Jr., how he basically brought the two parties together from his endorsement, 70 years, 7 months, and 7 days from his birth. And then this is what we talked about this too. Remember Trump, the Pope is dead. So he goes to J.D. Vance goes there at 7 years and 7 months from Rosh Hashanah 2017, and 7 days later, Trump is there. So Trump is at the Pope's funeral 7 years, 7 months, and 7 days from from Rosh Hashanah 2017, his first term. So I'm just showing you, like, this is crazy. And then today, Nino, this is the last one. Then ask your question. The last one. If you go backwards 7 years, 7 years from today, Trump opens a U.S. embassy in Jerusalem. 7 years backwards from today to the exact day. Nino, ask your question, please.
No, I was going to say that was the casket. I would have imagined it a little more elaborate than that. It just looked like a wooden box.
Yeah, apparently, I don't know the details, but apparently it is just a wooden box for all the popes. Apparently, that's kind of how the whole thing. I don't know all the details of it, but this, yeah. So
covered in gold or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they're supposed to, trying to keep the Pope humble, I guess, or however that works. But yeah. So today, being May 14th, 2025, is a very pivotal time point. Something is important, should be happening in the world with regards to Trump. Are you kidding me? Yesterday, he signs $1,600,000,000,000, potentially $1 trillion deal with Saudi Arabia.
Biggest deal ever in the Middle East.
And today, well, wait, this is actually important. What happened today? This is the first time a U.S. president ever visited the United Emirates. On May 14th, this just hit me just now. I just Googled, I saw this morning. This is the first time in history a U.S. president visits the United Emirates ever. And today is May 14th. See, I'm just showing you how this May 14th date, May 13th date, this 24-hour window is pivotal for things going off in the world. This is no coincidences. So now this is what the Lord revealed to me with regards to finance. So this is the important thing, How did they do everything? How did the politicians, how did Hollywood, how did everybody do everything in the world to control us and put us in this situation? Okay, we talked about this before, but it's the 7 mountains of influence, seven hills of influence: the financial, family, church, government, entertainment, media, and education. And it's all based on puppet masters. You created unlimited amount of money to control humanity. What did Rothschild say? He says, give me the control over a nation's currency, and I care not who makes its laws. That was Rothschild statement in 1740, whatever it was. Another statement Rothschild said, I care not who controls a nation's political affairs so long as I control her currency. You see, I reference that because Trump even said, he who controls the gold controls the world, right? But before that, Rothschild's out saying, I don't care who controls the finance. As long as I control the financial system, I could care less about what any politician has to say. So what have we seen? We've seen Federal Reserve come into act. Federal Reserve came in at nighttime, Christmas Eve. And since then, Trump even said, as of 1913, the United States ended up owing money. But before then, the tariffs, we had so much money, we didn't know what to do with it. So now with Trump bringing back tariffs, understand, this is going to be incredible. We're going to have so much money in the United States, we won't know what to do with it all. The Federal Reserve is going to shut down. The IRS is going to shut down. All of this is going to shut down because they're not going to, there's going to be so much money. That's what's coming.
Here's what I'm worried about. We better be going away from the IRS because there's going to be no jobs. Artificial intelligence is taking all of it. So that being said, yeah, we may have all the money, but nobody's going to be working. Nobody's going to do anything because all the jobs are going to be taken. Do you see anything like that happening? To me, this is like a massive trap. Artificial intelligence is a trap. And what are people going to do without jobs? What are people going to do with their time? I'm just saying, I see this. It's coming. There's going to be driverless trucks on the street. The trucking industry is about to get hit. No more workers at the fulfillment centers. I mean, jobs are going to be taken. So are you saying people are just going to have a universal basic income? Well, what's going to happen here? We're going to have all this money, but I mean, how are people going to get the money? Are they going to be, government's going to be giving them the money? How's that going to work?
Great question. You know, this is why I like speaking with you, because you ask great questions. So now what we need to understand is this is where understanding time comes in. Okay. And this is a great point. Like if, you know, you've had people on your show talk about the little season, talk about where the millennial reign, understand if what you're describing and this were the little season or this were the millennial reign, it'd be horrible. Because basically what you're saying and what would happen ultimately we would see there would be no need for jobs, like you're saying with AI, and everything would become free. And that's not what the plan is here. Okay. The plan is specifically God's going to create a window of time. It's called a season. The season that's coming is a season of twofold. It's prosperity beyond measure. You won't even know what to do with all the money. And that money causes a revival of biblical proportions, where the name of Christ will be spoken around the four corners of the earth. Why? Because all of this is setting the stage for the last trumpet. The last trumpet is when Christ returns to earth. So Trump is sounding the trumpet for the last trumpet, for the return of Christ. That's why his name is Trump. There are no coincidences that is his name. Okay. It's specific, and that's why I honestly believe there will be another president by the name of Trump, which would be likely him or one of his family members. But there can be no other president in the United States aside from a Trump into years forward. So this is really important to understand because Trump is sounding the trumpet, and so where there's a window of time coming, and God uses all things for His glory. So the AI thing for a season is going to be fantastic because we'll be able to capitalize and use all the benefits of AI. But then the Antichrist system, because you read Revelation 13, then I saw another beast rise from the earth. And this is the fulfillment of the Daniel prophecy about the little horn. Okay, the little horn rises with the 10 kings and then the little horn. And so then I saw another beast rise from the earth and made all the inhabitants of the earth worship the first beast, which is Babylon. When that moment in time happens, which is not this decade, it'll be next decade. You and I have talked about that on your back channel, and this time calculation is based on Prince William. Okay, very important to understand to look at his birthday. His birthday is critical. His birthday is critical because that ties into events that he was born on a specific date, this is the day of Most High, but on a specific year. And this ties into biblical prophecy. We've talked about it on your back channel. And so the Antichrist system will rise in the future. And then you're dead on right. There's no, it's just going to be a horrible place to live because everything's going to be automated. Everything's going to be AI. They're not going to need humanity. But this is also where the rapture comes into play. So all of this is set up for God's plan. And so understand God has a plan for all of this. And right now, we're at a point in time where God's about to intervene on the world. And this will be the Joel moment, the Joel 2, the great and terrible day. God steps in, changes the course of history for a season of time. The church, that we will be blessed beyond measure. The fall of Babylon is about to occur. And then the fall of Babylon, Babylon the Great, she has fallen. This is the money system, collapses. But then in the future, next decade, okay, we've talked about on your back channel, there's a time point we talked about. Then the beast system rises again, Revelation 13. The beast system rises, and then again, that's full on AI, okay? And you don't want any part of that.
We got 5 years of good golden age.
Well, actually, what you've got is we're going to step in. So this is it's called a decade of difference. So it started out at 2020. In 5 years, we went to hell. And the next 5 years are going to be the exact opposite. So it's like, remember how we said, Jesus' first miracle was water to wine. So this is a stepping stone of miracles we're going to start seeing. So as the next 5 years progress, by the time 5 years is up, you won't be able to recognize this world, how awesome it is. But it's only going to take 2 years for all of this to transpire. So when the year 2050, year for America, 250 hits, man, is it going to be good. So evil will have been fully removed out of the United States of America. They will have fled or been destroyed or in jail. But evil will be completely removed from the United States of America by the midterms, because the midterms are November 2026. That's right.
But and I thought you just said 2050. That's when... What is this?
The 250th anniversary for the Declaration of Independence, the year 250. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then you brought that up as well, too, in one of our prior podcasts. The Lord put that on my heart. Actually, I want to play a video on that. But the year 250 from the Declaration of Independence it starts on 4th of July, 2026. Okay, so this is very important. So we're stepping into some really important time points here. So let me get back to the slides. I'm going to show you some stuff here, because then we can tie into the 250 Jubilee that Trump is talking about. So let me show you this here. So let's just backtrack a second. So first off, they built the entire financial system on the petrodollar. Kissinger went to Saudi Arabia. Where was Trump just now? Saudi Arabia. So Kissinger, everybody listen to the steps here. So Kissinger signs a contract with Saudi Arabia on June 9th, 1974. I'm just showing you details. 50 years later to the exact day, June 9th, 2024, last year, Saudis refused to re-sign the petrodollar contract. Here are the articles. 1, 2, 3, 4 articles. Saudis refused to re-sign the petrodollar contract.
And that's when everyone was scared the dollar was going to crash.
Yes. Nino, you're paying attention. Thank you very much for remembering. Very good. So, Nino, you're remembering the details. So now we've got, as of June 9th, 2024, the US dollar ran out of gas. We were joking about it because it had no more petro. It was just fiat attached to nothing. Now, this is critical because we're in the 50th year, which doesn't end until June 8th, 2025. Incredibly, June 8th, 2025 is Pentecost. Like, you can't make this up. How is it landing on a biblical feast date? 50 years ends right there. But this is where it gets interesting, because June 9th, there's a thing called Operation Sandman. Guess where Trump's right now? In the desert. What's his name that was playing a video?
Dan Scavino kept playing Enter Sandman on his...
Why? People, please ask yourself a question. And Nino, Nino, you got it nailed, right? Dance Camino. Why is he, of all the songs he could be playing, first he doesn't need to be playing anything. Why is he playing Sandman? Like, why is he playing that song that, when Trump's flying out to Saudi Arabia, where all the deserts are? Sandman. What's Operation Sandman? Please pay attention, because this is important, because Babylon's money system must fall for the evil to be exposed, because they use the money to buy and pay off everybody. But the day that no one wants the dollar anymore, that's the day their game is up. I'm going to repeat, the day that no one wants the dollar anymore in this world, so nations no longer accept it as payment, is the day the globalist game is up. And that's the collapse, the beginning of the collapse of Babylon. Okay, so Operation Sandman, from my research of in the past, is 142 countries, could be more by now, but 142 countries worldwide repudiate, means dump, the US dollar currency, meaning the bonds, on the same day, and from that day forward refuse to accept it as payment. This happens in a single day. Now, why is this important? Because, let's go study a little more history, because from the details of what we've learned, Saudis, the entire time, have not joined the BRICS. This is about the BRICS and the collapse of the dollar. What's the BRICS plan? The BRICS plan is very simple. Create a new financial system that parallels the US dollar. What does parallel mean? It means it works just like the US dollar. So if I wanted to send Nino money, I could use either the Fed wire system, or if the BRICS were alive, I could send money via the BRICS money system to Nino, and that would be the same parallel system. You'd have a choice. But the moment that happened, that would cripple the US dollar. So the point of the BRICS system is to cripple the US dollar. Why? Because if the dollar is crippled, then they've got everything. They control the United States, and that was the long-term plan for China. China's long-term plan's always been world dominance and control. That's always been their plan. You can Google it. China's long-term plan.
From here?
Say again?
What does China do now?
Well, this is going to be very interesting, because China's plan is long-term dominance now, but they're doing it through the BRICS: Brazil, BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Okay, so, and there's many other countries that have joined it, but here's the wild part. Nino, no Arab states, countries, United Emirates, Saudi Arabia, none of them have agreed to join the BRICS. If you look right here, here's an article that I pulled up just yesterday. Saudi Arabia sits on the fence over BRICS, and this was on May 8th. So Saudi Arabia, as of May 8th, was still last week sitting on the fence about joining the BRICS. And then here's the interesting, the day they arrested Trump in the mugshot, that was August 4th. I was in Vegas at the time at the Reawaken America tour, and I remember Trump getting arrested. The mugshot happened that day. But on that same day, Saudi Arabia, the United Emirates, where Trump is right now, and Iran among 6 countries who were invited to join the BRICS. And guess what? None of them said yes. They're all sitting on the fence. And why? Because they wanted to see what was probably going to happen with the next election. Well, guess who won? And now guess what happened? Trump just is this is complete respect. I don't know if you watched that talk, but you couldn't see any more respect from the Prince of Saudi Arabia and how he treated Trump.
Standing ovation, everything.
It wasn't even red carpet treatment. I believe it was like the color of his tie, right? It was purple carpet, royalty, purple carpet treatment. It was, they could not have gone bigger for Trump. This was the event of events. And understand, Putin 2 years ago had the same meeting with all the United Emirates. So this is wild how this is all coming together, because the United Emirates, they are the linchpin, because if they're now buddies with Trump, this is signaling the demise of the Federal Reserve System. This is a complete and utter signal, and the fact that it's happening on May 13th and 14th, the Federal Reserve System is about to come down, and this is the wild part. Now, I don't know. Okay, God again, angel of death, millions dead, gone overnight. God will not reveal that event and what it's going to happen. But Nino, I find this fascinating, this part right here. When you pull up and you specifically look at what's going on in the world, and you look at the White House, I'm going to pull up the White House post right here, and I'm going to show you something here because I find this rather interesting. Let's pull this up right here and hit the share button. So anybody can go right now to the White House. It's the White House of America, White House, and there's a countdown clock to 250-year anniversary. Okay, so the countdown clock to America's.
I didn't know that. That's at the White House website.
Yeah, it's whitehouse.gov, America 250 /.
Wow.
He just showed me this today.
Why would they accentuate that?
I want to show you something that the Lord revealed to me, and you're going to go, what? Okay, so this is crazy. Okay, so this is, anybody can go whitehouse.gov / America 250 /. This is the page that comes up. Right now, it's 415 days, 2 hours. Today is, again, the 14th of May. It's a countdown. This is a countdown to America's 250th anniversary, which is the 4th of July, 2016.
What would they need to do that for? That's really very obvious, very significant that they're even counting down to this.
Okay, so let me show you this. Can you see this right here? Can you see this right here? You see that? You see air? You see this?
Yep.
Air.
Yep.
What does that show you? Air 404.
I got one today on my computer.
Okay, so why I'm showing you this is I don't know why the Lord showed me this. I don't know what it means, but I want to show you this right here and the viewers because this is crazy. So when you look at Air 404 and you apply time to it, Air 404 directly relates. If you can, here, pull it up, share. Air 404, page not found, directly relates to America's 250-year celebration. Do you know how, Nino?
How?
If you use the page May 14th, there's a video that Trump did. Actually, I'm going to play the video here first. I got it queued up. I want to play this video and then we can discuss it. Listen to what Trump is saying and listen to the dates of when it all begins. And remember, today is 415 days. And remember the number 404. So let's watch this video. Here we go.
I can't hear it.
Oh, sorry. Let me start that again. I hit the sound button. Share sound. Here we go. Try again.
3 years from now, the United States will celebrate the biggest and most important milestone in our country's history. 250 years of American independence. What a great country. We have to keep it that way. But that's why, as a nation, we should be preparing for a most spectacular birthday party. We want to make it the best of all time. Here is my plan to give America's founding in 1776 the incredible anniversary it truly deserves. On day one, I will convene a White House task force called Salute to America 250. It will be responsible for coordinating with state and local governments to ensure not just one day of celebration, but an entire year of festivities across the nation, starting on Memorial Day 2025 and continuing through July 4th, 2026. Second, I will work with all 50 governors, Republican and Democrat alike, to create the Great American State Fair, a unique one-year exhibition featuring pavilions from all 50 states. It'll be something. The Great American State Fair will showcase the glory of every state in the Union, promote pride in our history, and put forth innovative visions for America's future. My hope is that the amazing people of Iowa will work with my administration to open up the legendary Iowa State Fairgrounds to host the Great American State Fair and welcome millions and millions of visitors from around the world to the heartland of America for this special one-time festival. Together we will build it and they will come. Third, alongside the Great American State Fair, we will host major sporting contests for high school athletes. These are great athletes, wonderful athletes from fantastic high schools all around the country. These Patriot Games will allow young Americans from every state to show off the best of American skill, sportsmanship, and competitive spirit. Fourth, I will sign an executive order to bring back our National Garden of American Heroes, which we want to build very badly, commission artists for the first 100 statues to populate this new statuary park honoring the greatest Americans of all time. Fifth, as president, I will invite the leaders and citizens of nations around the world to visit the United States in honor of our 250th anniversary. It's going to be great. America's tourist industry should get ready because we're going to have a lot of people coming. It will be a record year. And finally, and most importantly, I will ask America's great religious communities to pray for our nation and our people as we prepare for this momentous occasion. From the very beginning, America has been a country sustained and strengthened by prayer and by our communities of faith. As we chart a course toward the next 250 years, let us come together and rededicate ourselves as one nation under God. Thank you.
Memorial Day.
Well, that tells me maybe something's gonna maybe the first arrest. I don't know.
So Memorial Day. So this video is 3 years old, 2013. Memorial Day next Monday. So today's the 14th. So 10 days from now.
On that video is 3 years old.
Yes, he did it in July of 2023.
And
he goes it starts out
25.
Yeah, so he starts out 3 years from now. So this was in July 2023.
Oh, that's significant.
He's talking about specifically Memorial Day, the May 26th. So why I'm saying that is because Memorial Day, May 26th, not this Monday, but next Monday. This is incredible. From Memorial Day, May 26th, to the 4th of July, 2026. The 4th of 2026 is day 404.
There you go.
Day 404 is Memorial Day. So do things go dark? Is there an error message? Does something happen? Also interesting too, this relates to Trump in the year 2026. He's going to be 80. He turns 80 on June 14th, 2026. And incredibly, the U.S. Army's 250th birthday is the exact same day. So all of this is pointing to a very important time point still here, potentially May.
Jeez.
May 26th, and then 40 days. This is an important date. 40 days later, because that's from Resurrection Sunday and the death of the Pope into the 31st. So very important time point as May ends here. And there is the prophecy, in the prophecy of 𝗀𝗄𝗯𝗶, who stated the spirit of pathos will be removed in America. In that same prophecy, he said, joy in spring. Spring started March, but it doesn't end until the 20th, 21st of June. So something's supposed to happen as we step in, as May's ending, particularly the Memorial Day onwards into June, because there's going to be joy in June, that joy in spring. That's the prophecy. So the math is incredible on the time window, but a long-term and long picture of this is all about the fall of Babylon and its hills. It's all about the takedown of Babylon and this fall of Babylon, the beast system. The calculations show that the exposure is about to happen. Something needs to happen. It's supposed to happen before summer, springtime. So in other words, before summer, something's supposed to happen, which then leads us into a 4th of July celebration this year. And then that steps us into the one entire year of celebrations Trump was just speaking about in the video.
So the celebration doesn't start May 26th, or does it? Or does it start July 4th?
Memorial Day is May 26th. And so he says on that day, he's going to make an announcement. And that's the start of the celebration. But it really doesn't begin until obviously the 4th of July of this year. But he's starting for, I guess the question is, why is he starting? Why is Trump starting on Memorial Day? Like, you got to ask the question. And why is that day 404, exactly 404 days to the 4th of July, 2026? And my other question is, where does number 404 even come from? Look, what is up with that number? No one really knows. It's just, why did they pick that number? Why did they pick that number? Why is Memorial Day 404 days to the exact day Trump is referencing? So that video spoke of specifically Memorial Day to the 4th of July. He's staying in that video. It's going to be a day that starts on Memorial Day and it goes to the 4th of July, 2026, Memorial Day, 2025. If you look, that entire window is 404 days to the exact day. So I don't know what it all means, but the calculations are indicating that something's supposed to transpire May yet. The 40th day would be the 30th into the 31st of May. A few days before that is the 404 day. Then we've got June Pentecost, very important. And again, all of these people are going to be exposed, or something happens that they can't turn back from. And the great and terrible day, I heard through a prophecy of Carolyn Dennis, I believe I heard correctly, but the great and terrible day is still supposed to transpire before summer hits.
Okay.
So again, that's all I know, but we're all watching. We all see. Again, let me finish this. We all see in part. I calculate in part. We prophesy in part, but ultimately, this is God's plan, which He's revealing to us, to humanity. And I'm doing my utmost to show the world what is coming. The calculations are real. That's the key point. The calculations are real, just like the death of the Pope on 421. Just like we're going to see something biblical happen on the 4th. Just like I believe something will potentially happen here at 40 days and then 50 days. So these are biblical time points. The math is set. And so we just wait to see what happens. Again, we did speak about the 13th, 14th of May. Holy mackerel. $1 trillion deals yesterday, and today's the first time a U.S. president steps foot in the United Emirates. Okay, so these are biblical markers we're watching, and all of them are related to chess moves Trump is making, and it's incredible. Again, Memorial Day 2025 to 4th of July is 404 days to the exact day. First off, how is that possible? How is it happening? And the other last question is, where the heck did 404 come from in the first place?
Well, we'll see, Bo. I'm taking notes here. Biblical markers have been met, more to be met. So, yeah, the 13th and 14th, very significant days. I'll say that. What's going to happen May 26th, folks? We'll see, I guess. This is getting wild. But
it's getting wild. We're still, and you started the podcast off with gold and silver. I'm telling you, people, when this thing goes down, you're going to be celebrating that you listen to Nino, that you listen to me, that you've got precious metals. Because when this thing goes down, this is the golden age. The golden age is the explosion of God's money, okay? And the golden age sets the stage for the return of Christ in the future. Again, there's no third temple yet, okay? We're going to go through a window of divine favor. Then the temple is going to be, they're going to come in. They got the gold. They already got the red heifers. All of the stage is set for, end times events. But yet we're getting a window of reprieve before things really get ugly, and then the AI really starts to take control of the world, okay? And even back to AI, and then you have the Starlink thing. So remember, this is interesting because Elon Musk met with Saudi Arabia right after Trump got off stage. Elon went on stage and he signed a deal with Saudi Arabia and Starlink. Now understand, Brandon Biggs, the one who prophesied that Trump would be hit in the ear, God showed him that Starlink would be tied in with the mark of the beast. So they would use Starlink globally to track everybody on who's got the mark and who doesn't. So Starlink will be linked directly. And remember, if you look at the flags, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, please go look at the color. And remember, when it says pale horse, that's translated to green, chloros, okay? So go look at the colors of the flags of the Middle East. There are your 4 horsemen colors. Right? The colors of the Middle East of all the flags, all of them, like just yesterday's flag, Saudi Arabia is green, but every other flag is white, black, red, and green. Every flag of the Middle East has that combination.
The pale horse is here.
Well, no. Well, the pale horse. Well, this is very interesting because you nailed it. Saudi Arabia will be tied in with prophecy in the future,
All
and
right.
not in a good way.
So Saudi
Okay, that's
Arabia is
why.
the pale horse.
Well, they're going to be tied in. Yes, they're going to be tied in with a
I'll
lot
just go there.
with because that's why. So I'm not getting too many details, but they'll be tied in with controlling the mark system because they have the
All right.
contract with Elam for Starlink. So this is wild that they actually have the contract now with Elon Musk for Starlink. So wild times ahead,
All
but
right.
fear not, God's got this, and we're going to have an incredible shifting season as we're heading into summer here.
Well, Pony, thank you for joining me. Stay with me just for a sec. All right, folks, like and share the video, hit the notification button, and follow Bo Pony. Where do they find you, Bo?
Go to my website, gold and then 2020forecast.com. Also, I do post regularly. You want to go to X because it's just my name, Bo, and then Polny. But on X, God shows me things sometimes. I quickly post things on X. So you want to go to X, and also more current YouTube videos. You can put my name in on YouTube, and that shows up. And it's the one with the check mark. So just be careful, a lot of fake accounts out there.
Thanks, Bo.